Hello, thank you so much for joining us. This is Fides Television. My name is Ifi ARONU OKAFOR. I hope you're doing well. Well, today we have a very important and critical conversation. When you hear about gender, what comes to mind? What are the issues in gender equality, which stands as SDG Goal 5? Gender equality, and of course we know that the 2030 deadline is just 5 years away. So how do we begin to get to the point where Nigeria is ranked as a country that stands as a beacon of gender equality? That's what this conversation is about. So I'll be joined by two ladies who will be sharing thoughts with us on a critical aspect of what SDG 5 aims to achieve. That is to end all forms of female genital mutilation and to ensure that women and girls are free from harmful practices. Join me as I make welcome Reverend Sister Elizabeth Ume of the Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus Congregation. Sister works at the CHIWENDU University Teaching Hospital, Amakoka. Sister, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, and just seated next to Sister Elizabeth is Nurse OKOYE CHIWENDU, a public health practitioner. How are you, Nurse CHIWENDU?
I'm good, thank you.
You're welcome to the program. Now let's get to it. A lot of times we talk about female genital mutilation and it's high sounding. So I want us to demystify it. Kaiwe tutie, bakene, nya penya, and understand the concept. So sister, talk to us. How do we understand this simply, just in a few words?
Okay, thank you. Female genital mutilation, FGM, is all about total or partial removal of the female external organs known as the clitoris. Okay. And this practice has really caused a lot of harmful or harm to the health sector. Okay. It has really done a lot of harm than good to our health sectors, because me as a midwife working in one of the hospitals in the city, I've really come across a lot of women that undergo this harmful practice known as FGM.
Okay. Sister, before we go into that, I would like for us to just understand the concept and then we'll talk about your practice. Yeah. Nurse CHIWENDU, is there anything you can add? Sister already established that it's the partial or the complete removal of the female external genitalia. Talk to us, what gets removed?
Okay. The external female genitalia, which includes the outer part, which includes the clitoris, the labia minora, and the labia majora. It's just like a fold. A fold. We call it that area. We call it the vulva. So those places, and they remove those things for non-medical reason. That's the most important thing. Non-medical reason, because for example, one episiotomy or medical reason, but in FGM it doesn't
get removed. Episiotomy,
no, it's just to FGM with different types.
Okay.
Now the type 4 but include any injury to that place, to the vulva area. So that's what I'm saying. Non-medical reason. Reason a cut or to cut out any part of the vaginal area. So the FGM will just to remove either the clitoris, the labia minora, or the labia majora. That's those food in the vaginal area. For non-medical reasons.
Thank you so much. Now let's have an interaction between sister and Nurse CHIWENDU. You are the medics. I know nothing much about this. So when you're talking about the vulva, the clitoris, the labia, I'm wondering, what role do these organs play? I mean, talk to us so that we understand this thing that gets removed. What role does it even play in the first place? Why are we bothered about the removal?
Okay, so the clitoris is the sensitive part of a woman's body.
Ah, okay.
Yes. The labia minora and
sensitive. I really want us to let's talk about yes.
What do you mean by sensitive?
Yes.
Is the part that is kind of
stimulated during sexual intercourse.
Yes. Okay. And it makes the woman to go into orgasm.
Yes. Okay, so that's the part that helps her enjoy sex.
Yes.
In plain language.
Yes.
Okay, and when that thing is removed, that means she can no longer
enjoy the sex.
Or forever. At some point she's
forever
because every posture only hana was scar tissue formation or bianya corn. So in a do to not just there in a we go do the sex one are very painful.
Okay, sex is painful after FGM.
Yes, they don't enjoy it. So only me go the only ane ka obulu no chọrọ ime maka die or ka me ka obu na muta nwa ka ndi ime we muta nwa. Okay, it's not like no chọrọ ime do to no ogori ya go mob no enjoy the thing.
Okay. So
and also fun thing dey na the thing bona ihe abu trauma. Ha na-enwe post traumatic stress disorder because MSCI ihe ima normally all the very painful.
Okay, actually, so FGM is painful.
Yes, actually,
it is torture.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, anything. Local anesthesia, condom border.
Yes.
But in this case, I don't have anything. So if you only know those things, the person waking those things, those we those things or say no, I don't want to.
Beyond the medical concerns. And that, of course, like you said, usually it's traditionally done on infections.
Yes.
You know, it's possible, I can tell.
Of course.
There's also the angle that it numbs a woman for life. She can no longer enjoy sex, which is a natural gift from God.
Yes.
And you're also telling me, thirdly, that it causes emotional trauma, intense emotional trauma and stress that may affect other aspects of her life.
It can cause anxiety, even depression. It can result to depression, even low self-esteem.
Yes.
Okay.
Low self-esteem of an individual.
All right, and this tells me why we have that FGM is a critical issue that the world is battling. We've seen that in September 2024, the United Nations General Assembly that was held in New York, the Pact for the Future was adopted. Yeah. And part of the items in the Pact for the Future expresses that we will eliminate
FGM.
Female genital mutilation. So that is a global goal.
Yeah.
How far is Nigeria keying into this global goal? Sister, what are the indicators you're getting? We see that UNICEF has released statistics, and of course we find that the Southeast, there's prevalence of female genital mutilation in the Southeast. Imo State, we know of course that 38%, it's 38% of women 15 to 49 years who have been caught. And in Ebonyi State, we see 20.4% of the same age range. Abia State, we have 20.3%, and Anambra State, 13.1%. Now, they tell us that this is perhaps an improvement from previous statistics, but that also tells us that it is still going on. How do you feel about it? To know that this practice is still, and coming from your religious background, one would think that you would even support this, because sexual purity is one thing that you sign to. That's the celibacy profession. You know, you're more like, I'll be celibate for life. But why are you as a nun campaigning against FGM? Why?
Because as a midwife, I've really come across lots of women that is suffering from this harmful practice. But especially during the childbirth, I had one incident. A woman who came in for child delivery. In the process, I discovered that she passed through this. She has done FGM and she couldn't deliver. I tried my possible best. The baby is not coming out. And after everything, I gave her what we call episiotomy to open the orifice of the vagina. And before then, the baby has undergone what we call prolonged delivery, and the baby has gone into what we call the baby has become asphyxiated. What I mean by asphyxiated is that the baby has become weak, and I tried to do a lot of resuscitation to ensure that I resuscitated the baby. But at the end of the day, thanks be to God, the baby survived. But something happened along the line. After resuscitating the baby, the mother started bleeding, and eventually we tried our possible best to see how we can arrest it. At the end of the day, we lost the mother.
Oh my!
So it became a serious concern for her sector, because now this baby does not have a mother. Who is going to raise this mother? Who is going to raise this baby for the society? The mother is not there, and it's now come back to the church, as the church sister and the midwife in the church, and they will not take over the baby. The baby was taken to an orphanage without mother, and the father died on accident. So that was one of the problems. Then secondly, I also have another experience of a young girl who came to deliver. She delivered a baby. After delivering, she ended up what we call VVF, viscovaginal fistula. What I mean by that is that there was a leakage because she undergo this FGM2. So there was a leakage from the vagina to the anus. The feces is coming from the anus to the urethra, and the urine is also going to. So it becomes a lot of complication. This is costing health sector a lot of money to put it right. So that is why I'm here today, to talk about it and see how we can put our hand on deck to see how we can eliminate this ugly incident called FGM.
Sister, all of this that you narrated, they are all consequences and complications arising from FGM.
Exactly, yes.
All right, you're still watching Fides Television, and the conversation is still on female genital mutilation and the necessity to curb it right now. We'll take a short break and return. Action 8 of the Pact for the Future expresses a decision by the United Nations and, of course, every country of the world represented at the UN to ensure universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights as agreed in accordance with the Program of Action of the International Conference on Population and Development and the Beijing Platform for Action and the outcome document of their review conferences. You're welcome back to the conversation on female genital mutilation and the necessity and urgency to end the practice now. My name is ARONU. OKAFOR. Thank you for being here, and still appreciating Reverend Sister Elizabeth Ume for being here. Thank you so much, Sister. Of course, public health nurse CHIWENDU OKOYE. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
So before we went for the break, Sister gave a harrowing account of the incidents, throw-ups of FGM. And as CHIWENDU, you're also going to weigh in on that and talk to us from your public health practice. What do you see? What's going on there? Is Sister having a bad time, or is it worse for them and better for you?
Is worse in the community, because when you come to the community, FGM is like a social norm, like a social norm be here say so some societies see it as a social norm. They must do it, even if you educate them on the side effect or the bad effects of it, they still practice it. So in the society, it's even worse.
Why do they keep at it, even when they see that people are likely die from the, why does it continue?
One, it has a lot of reasons. The first one is, since it's a social norm, everybody wants to be accepted.
Oh, social acceptance.
Yes. If you go against what others are doing, they will see you as the black sheep. You will be ostracized. So everybody wants to be accepted.
Okay.
Apart from that, the community also see it as a way of raising the female child by controlling their sexuality, for them not to be promiscuous. They're preparing the females to how to be a good mother.
To be good and faithful wives.
Yes, to be a good and faithful wife. So you see a lot of people are doing it because they want their daughters to be eligible for marriage.
Does it actually make achieve that? Does it make ladies reserved and not?
Yes, because once like I earlier said, that the clitoris is a sensitive part of a woman's body, where through it the woman can enjoy sex.
Okay.
So once it's removed, there's the libido, the sexual libido is low.
Okay.
You see that there is no need for the sexual activity. So the lady will be reserved, truly.
Okay.
But
extremely reserved, because I know that someone who has clitoris can also be reserved.
Yes. They become forgetting that even if with the clitoris and the rest, you can still be reserved. People have self-control. You can teach yourself to have self-control.
And I want to bring it back to sister now, because I know that she's in the in this revered profession, and she took the oath of celibacy. That does not mean that you're and that nuns go through FGM, or is that a requirement? Or, you know, because I know that a nun has decided to, and they are reserved. They just talk to us about
the FGM.
Is FGM a guarantee of purity and faithfulness?
No, not really. Just as my colleague said, that it's all about self-control and decision and the choice of what you want to do. Because if you say you want to preserve your virginity, you want to be chaste, then it is your choice. And you work towards that and have self-control towards that, because it is what we have decided to do, but not really through FGM. FGM does not have any connection with sexual interaction, with purity, with fidelity, with chastity. Not at all. In fact, it doesn't even have any health benefits. So it just have a decision.
So we've agreed that some families see it as a social norm. Yes. And I think that Nurse CHIWENDU, she alluded to something. I think you can tell us how families can even fuel FGM. Just give us a quick account.
Okay, so for an instance, I met a lady in my working place that said she wants to do female genital mutilation for her daughter.
Her daughter of how old, please?
A girl of 4 months. So I told a baby, yes, a baby of 4 months. I told her there is no need for it. I health educated. She said no, that she must do it too, because the mother-in-law will not allow that baby to come into her house. Because others are doing it in the community. Why will her own be different? So you see, even the lady, she has agreed, but because of what the mother-in-law will say and what the community will say, she decided to do it, even though she knows that it's not good.
Okay, but so it's a family. They say it as
the mother-in-law is what motivated her to do it for her own daughter.
Every daughter in that family
must undergo FGM.
And we know that there are many families there. You know, when you talked about communities, that some communities see it as social norms. I'm sure that most communities, maybe in Anambra, don't. But I think that maybe there are some who still see it as a social norm. So it's important for us to make that known, that it's not in all communities. Yes, but some communities. And all of these things, it's not like something that they are open about. You know, these are just normal. It has been normalized. You know, normal. It's seen as a way of life.
A way of tradition.
It's a tradition.
Exactly. So now, how do we begin? Okay, before we go into how we can begin to break down the myths around FGM and all of that, let us also talk about the socioeconomic angle, because for that lady who Nurse CHIWENDU was speaking to, when she gets to the hospital, I would have thought, because she took the child to the hospital, right? So
some of them, they hardly go to hospital.
Really?
Yes. They take the child to some traditional birth attendants, those places, that's where they do it. They don't take them to hospital. So they feel that if they bring that child to hospital, that maybe the health workers there they will not even do it. They will advise against it. So they will take the child to where it is being accepted and it is being done. They will do it there.
Okay, so sister, in Amako now, if somebody goes for FGM, what's likely going to happen?
Actually, it's not done officially at Amako, but I know some midwives might have their own
private practice
where they do it just for socio-economic reason, because of the money
that's serious
we paid to them, because they're after the money, they're not after the life of that child. And there's something I want to talk about human rights violation.
Yes,
it's families that goes into doing FGM to children. Don't they think that this is human rights violation? They are violating the rights of these children.
Yes,
which is not proper. Because when they grew up, they will see it as what we call post-traumatic stress disorder.
Don't you think? Thank you so much, sister. Okay, before I ask you this question, I want to also ask, what's the place of the church in this? What does the church say? Are they for or against? I mean, of course, you can only speak from the angle of the Catholic Church. That's what you're aware of.
From the angle of the Christianity,
Christianity.
Oh, okay. I think the church is against this, in a sense that it does not have any health benefits at all.
Okay.
So the church is against anything that does not have any benefits. They're only after humanity existence. But this one, instead of helping you to exist, it causes you a lot of harm and injury. It can lead to your death, because severe bleeding can lead to shock and shock to death.
Yes.
So church is against that.
All right. Now, we have established during the course of this conversation that female genital mutilation, or simply female circumcision,
yes,
not a violation of fundamental human rights,
yes,
including the right to health. It negates the fundamental human right of females, of girls, of women to health, life, and freedom from torture. It causes severe psychological and social consequences affecting victims throughout their lives from childhood to old age. It just changes their lives forever. Now, how do we begin to move away from female genital mutilation completely? Because that is the global goal. 2030 is just 5 years away. And we know that we're still battling with it in West and Central Africa. It is still endemic. What do we begin to do? Sister, you talked about violation of human rights. But I know that somebody who walks into Amako, by the time the person presents, that he or she wants to have this procedure done, the midwife will say, oh, no, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. Because the midwife then calling the authorities to come and arrest. Because if it's a violation of human rights, there should be a law to enforce.
Yes.
So how do we begin to move away if it's not enforceable? The right, if we can't enforce it and, get people punished.
I feel the best thing to do is that it should start from the government level, where they should enact and enforce law that this FGM should be prohibited. The perpetrators caught should be sanctioned. That's number one. That's the best thing to do. You see that once this law is passed, and there are a lot of people who go around and ensure that this law is being enforced, you see a lot of people will stop it.
Okay.
Because once you are caught, you go in for it. They will stop it. Then when it comes to the community level, I feel there should be health education. We should create awareness. Continuous health education. Awareness should be made, even through social medias, through public speaking, even posters. You can put posters on the wall where people can see, read, explain it in the language they can be able to understand. That's through community. Even the community should come together and agree that this thing should be abolished. It should be abandoned. Since everybody has agreed to it, so that let no others that will now decide if they don't do, maybe they'll be ostracized. They will now agree. This is what everybody has agreed on. we are not doing it again. Then for individuals too, individuals should be educated too on the effect of all those things, so that you as yourself, you can even stand firmly against it. Maybe somebody will say, okay, my mother-in-law, your mother-in-law will force you, go and do it for your child. You stand against it. I said, no, I know the implications of this. I don't want to subject my child to it.
Okay.
Yes.
From what I see, you've established that FGM is a cycle in families and societies that must be broken, and the time to break it is now. There is the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, FGM, observed on February 6th every year. And it's a day established by the United Nations to raise awareness and discourage and encourage efforts to end FGM worldwide. So on such days, the social media campaign can happen, and beyond that, even at the community level, we can even stage a walk across the
radio.
It should be across all communication channels, so that the message going
the church should also come in.
Okay. What can the church do?
The church can talk about it during their homily, and they say that people should be conscientized about this FGM, that is a very harmful practices, and it should be stopped, because the church are the ones that carry the families along. So
absolutely, because the family system is very vital. If we can start tracing to the family level, that's the basic level of society. And what more family, and what every other level of the society. I want to thank you, Reverend Sister Elizabeth Ume of the Congregation Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus, for being here today. Thank you so much for your advocacy against FGM.
Thank you.
Also appreciated, of course, Sister works at the CHIWENDU University Teaching Hospital, Amako Oka. And she's also here with Nurse OKOYE CHIWENDU, a public health practitioner. Thank you so much, Sister, for being here today. All right. Now, remember that female genital mutilation, otherwise known as female circumcision or cutting of the female genitalia as well, you know, this is a practice that is not modern. It is from the old ages and not consistent with where society is going in 2025. These are conversations that are not even supposed to be had in 2025. So we should begin to move away from these practices towards a more equal, equitable, and beautiful, fulfilling world for everyone, women and girls, and of course the males as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of the conversation. Keep watching Fides Television. I am Ife ARONU OKAFOR. Bye for now.